Most traders think the market is their opponent, but the real battle doesn't happen on the chart. It happens in the mirror. Mark Douglas once said, "The best traders aren't afraid to make mistakes because they don't internalize the outcome." Let that settle in. What if your losses weren't failures? What if they were simply part of a larger probability game you've been too emotional to play correctly? Most traders never get there. Not because they lack skill, but because they never rewire how they think. They try to trade like machines, but keep reacting like humans. Imagine trying to sculpt a masterpiece with a trembling hand. No matter how sharp your tools are, it's the steadiness of the artist that determines the outcome. If you want to become part of the 5% who win consistently, then you'll need to obey a different set of rules, internal ones. These are 7 psychological laws inspired by Mark Douglas. Not theories, laws. They govern every trader's behavior, whether you're conscious of them or not. And once you understand them, you'll start to see the market and yourself completely differently. But be warned, this isn't about tips and tricks. This is about rewiring your inner operating system. Let's begin. 1. Uncertainty is the only certainty. You can't control the market, and any attempt to do so will create frustration, overthinking, and fear. Imagine a trader. We'll call him Darren. Darren finds a high probability setup. He enters with confidence. The chart pulls back slightly, and he panics. He exits for a small loss. 30 minutes later, price rockets to his original target. What went wrong? It wasn't the strategy. It was Darren's need for certainty. He couldn't tolerate the discomfort of not knowing. He equated short-term movement with long-term failure. Now imagine a second trader, Maya. She sees the same setup, enters with the same risk. The same pullback happens, but she's calm. She accepts it because she doesn't expect the market to behave. She expects it to be chaotic, and because of that, she holds. She profits. It's not about skill. It's about acceptance. Mark Douglas wrote, "When you believe without a shadow of a doubt that anything can happen, you'll not have the slightest tendency to think that you know what's going to happen next." The 5% operate from this mindset. They've internalized randomness. They don't chase perfect entries. They don't flinch at small losses because they know certainty is a myth. Instead, they control the one thing they can, their response. The moment you let go of certainty, you gain clarity, and with clarity comes power. Pause and reflect. Have you been trying to force the market into your plan? Or have you adjusted your mindset to align with the truth that nothing is promised? If you haven't, then you haven't started trading yet. Not really. Law 2. The market reflects you. Your trading account is a mirror. It reflects your discipline, your patience, and your fear. Most traders think their results are about indicators or strategies. But the truth is, the market simply exposes what's inside you. Imagine 2 traders using the same strategy. One is composed, patient, detached. The other is anxious, impulsive, desperate. Same system, different outcomes. Why? Because it's not about the system. It's about the state you're in when you execute. One acts from clarity, the other from chaos. Mark Douglas taught that we don't trade the market. We trade our beliefs about the market. And those beliefs shape every click, every hesitation, every moment we hold too long or exit too early. The market doesn't punish you. It reflects you. The doubt you see, that's your own uncertainty. The fear you feel, that's your own story replaying. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Every irrational trade, every oversized position, every revenge entry isn't about the market. It's about unresolved patterns within you. Your upbringing, your beliefs about money, your tolerance for uncertainty. They all bleed into your trades, unnoticed but not unfelt. Ask yourself, Have I ever exited too early just to avoid the feeling of being wrong? Have I doubled down because I couldn't accept a loss? That's not strategy. That's emotional leakage. So when you look at your results, don't just analyze your entries. Analyze your emotional state. What version of you showed up to trade that day? Was it the calm observer or the insecure gambler trying to prove something? The market reveals your patterns, and until you confront those patterns, no strategy will save you. The work isn't just technical, it's internal. You are the edge or the obstacle. Choose wisely. Ready for Law 3? Law 3. Every trade is a probability, not a prediction. One of the greatest lies traders tell themselves is this: I knew that was going to happen. But let's be clear, you didn't know. You guessed. And this time, it worked. But how many trades have you guessed wrong? You see, the mind craves patterns. It wants certainty. It wants to believe that if X happens, then Y must follow. But trading is not chess. It's poker. And in poker, even a strong hand can lose to a weaker one, if the odds play out that way. Mark Douglas emphasized this truth over and over. You don't need to know what's going to happen next to make money. Think about that. You don't need to be right, just consistent. Here's where most traders go wrong. They treat each trade like a prediction, like a test of their intelligence or intuition. So when the trade fails, they feel like they failed. But when you shift from prediction to probability, everything changes. You no longer need to be right. You just need an edge and the discipline to execute that edge over time. The outcome of a single trade is irrelevant. It's the outcome over 100 trades that reveals your truth. Professional traders think in sample sizes. Amateurs obsess over single outcomes. Ask yourself, do I judge myself after every trade? Do I change my strategy because of one loss? If so, you're not trading probabilities. You're chasing predictions. Here's a better model. Define your edge. Know your risk. Execute with discipline. Repeat. That's it. The more you follow this model, the more predictable your results become over time. But if you keep treating every trade like a prophecy, you'll forever ride an emotional roller coaster of hope and regret. Probability liberates you. Prediction enslaves you. Choose freedom. If you've found value so far, take a moment to like the video and subscribe. This kind of content isn't for the masses. It's for those who truly want to master themselves. And if that's you, then join us. There's more to uncover. Ready for Law 4? Law 4. Your self-worth sets your risk tolerance. A trader's risk tolerance isn't just a number. It's a mirror of how much they believe they deserve to win. You can teach someone risk management. You can give them the formula 1% per trade, proper position sizing, stop loss in place. But if they don't believe they're worthy of keeping that money, they'll find a way to lose it. Mark Douglas once wrote, "The markets will give you what you want, but only to the degree you believe you deserve it." That's not about charts. That's about identity. Ask yourself, have you ever moved your stop just to avoid a loss, only to take a bigger one? Have you ever taken a huge position after a win, as if the market now owes you more? These aren't strategy flaws. These are self-worth leaks. You might intellectually understand risk, but emotionally, you're still at war with yourself. Maybe you grew up believing money was hard to earn. Maybe success felt unsafe. Maybe, deep down, part of you fears what it means to actually win consistently. Because if you win, you'll have to admit you are always capable, and that can be terrifying. That's the paradox. We think we fear loss, but often we fear what happens if we win. You must resolve this, because your risk tolerance is not about bravery, it's about alignment. When your self-worth matches your goals, your risk decisions become clean, measured, calm. You no longer need the market to prove your value, you already know your value. So now, you simply express it through disciplined execution. The next time you're about to break your rules, pause. Ask yourself, am I doing this because it's smart, or because I don't believe I deserve to protect what I've earned? The market will always test your system, but more importantly, it will test your sense of self. Master that, and risk becomes a tool, not a threat. Ready for Law 5. Law 5. Confidence without proof is the true edge. There's a moment every trader must face. A moment where nothing in the data confirms your conviction, but you still have to act. That's where real confidence is born. You see, most traders only feel confident after a win, but that's not confidence. That's validation. True confidence comes before the result. It's when you take the trade, despite the discomfort, despite the uncertainty, despite the last 2 losses still echoing in your mind. Mark Douglas wrote, "The hard, cold reality of trading is that every trade has an uncertain outcome." So why do some traders hesitate while others execute with precision? It's not the strategy. It's their relationship with uncertainty. Confidence isn't about being right. It's about being prepared. When you've done the work, logged your trades, reviewed your mistakes, refined your system, you no longer need proof. Your preparation becomes your proof. But if you wait for the market to confirm your belief every time, you'll always be late, always reactive, always one step behind. Ask yourself, do I only feel confident when the trade is already working? Or can I feel confident just by following my process? Because the pros, they don't trade outcomes, they trade preparation. That's why their confidence doesn't waver. It's not based on the last trade, it's built on thousands of intentional repetitions. In this game, confidence isn't a feeling, it's a decision. When you stop outsourcing your certainty to the market, you finally tap into the one edge that never fades, the belief in your ability to execute, regardless of the outcome. Let's continue. Law 6 awaits. Law 6. Discipline is a muscle, not a mood. Most traders wait to feel ready. They think discipline is something that shows up when the conditions are perfect, when the chart looks clean, when they're well rested, when they're in the zone. But the truth is, discipline is forged in discomfort. It's a muscle, and like any muscle, it only grows when tested. Imagine this. It's late, you're tired, you've taken 2 losses. A setup appears, not perfect, but tempting. That's the moment. Not the moment you win, not the moment you're confident, the moment you choose to follow your plan or break it. That single choice, repeated over time, becomes your trading identity. Mark Douglas understood this deeply. If you can learn to create a state of mind that is not affected by the market's behavior, the struggle will cease to exist. That state of mind? It's discipline, built through repetition, cemented through self-respect. The amateurs wait to feel disciplined. The professionals train to be disciplined. Ask yourself, do I only follow my rules when I'm feeling good? Do I adjust my risk when I'm bored or frustrated? If so, then your trades aren't guided by logic. They're driven by mood. But here's the truth. Every disciplined act is a vote for the trader you want to become. So start casting votes, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard, because that's when the muscle grows, and eventually, discipline stops being something you do. It becomes who you are. Let's continue. Law 7 awaits. Law 7. Patience pays in multiples. Most traders confuse activity with progress. They think if they're not in a trade, they're falling behind. But the truth is, the best trades often require the longest waits. Mark Douglas once said, "You don't need to be in the market all the time. You just need to be in the market at the right time." Let that sink in. Think of a lion. It doesn't chase every rabbit. It waits, poised, silent, until the right opportunity reveals itself. Then it strikes, once, with precision. That's how elite traders operate. They don't chase setups. They wait for alignment. They're not addicted to action. They're addicted to accuracy. And here's the paradox. The more you wait, the more the market gives. Because now, you're only taking the trades that truly meet your edge. Ask yourself, how many trades have I taken out of boredom? How many wins have I erased because I couldn't sit on my hands? Every unnecessary trade isn't just a small loss. It's a vote against your patience. And yet patience is what creates multiples. The huge wins, the account growth, the compounding consistency. But it's not glamorous. It's not fast. It requires you to surrender your ego and let the market come to you. Patience isn't just a trait. It's a tactic, a powerful one. So the next time you feel that itch, that urge to act for no reason, remember, the lion doesn't lose sleep over missing a rabbit because it's hunting something far greater. Trade like that lion. Wait for your prey, and when it comes, strike with confidence. And there you have it, the 7 psychological laws every trader must understand. These aren't tricks, they're not tactics, they're truths. You can ignore them, or you can integrate them. But if mastery is your goal, then make no mistake. This is the foundation. If this resonated with you, like, comment, and subscribe. Share this with a trader who needs to hear it. This channel isn't for hype, it's for evolution. Because before you can master the market, you must master yourself.